When you think of the world's most dangerous animals, what comes to mind? Probably sharks? Lions? Maybe a grizzly bear? I'm willing to bet that almost no one on Earth is afraid of a bird. But they should be, because in 2019, right here in Florida, a 75-year-old man was killed by one. And it wasn't a hawk or an eagle. It was a cassowary. If you've never seen a cassowary, you're in for a shock. It looks like it walked straight out of the Jurassic period. It can stand over 6 feet tall, covered in jet black feathers that look more like coarse hair around its neck and head. It has this vibrant, electric blue skin. And on top of its head sits this bizarre, helmet-like crest called a casque. It's a truly alien-looking creature, but the most important detail, the part that makes it so dangerous, isn't something you notice right away. You have to look down at its feet. Each of its inner toes carries a massive, curved talon that can grow up to 5 inches long. It's a literal dagger, and it's not for show. It's designed for one thing: slashing, for defense, or for attack. Cassowaries are native to the rainforests of Australia and New Guinea. They are incredibly powerful, highly territorial, and fiercely protective, especially when they feel threatened. Now, in the wild, attacks on humans are rare, but they are absolutely not a myth. There are well-documented cases of cassowaries disemboweling dogs, charging at people, and delivering kicks with enough force to break bones. This brings us to April 2019. A 75-year-old man named Marvin Hoyos was on his property in Alachua County, Florida. He wasn't a tourist who stumbled into the wrong place. He was an experienced breeder of exotic animals, and he kept multiple cassowaries. He had raised them. According to official reports, he fell. We don't know exactly how or why, but he ended up on the ground, and at that moment, one of his own birds attacked him. Repeatedly. The 5-inch claws caused catastrophic trauma. By the time emergency services arrived, it was too late. He died from his injuries. This event was one of the only confirmed human fatalities caused by a cassowary in over a century, and it didn't happen in some remote, dense jungle in New Guinea. It happened in a backyard in Florida. It sent shockwaves through the exotic animal community and beyond, because it forces us to ask, how does a bird become this dangerous? Well, the cassowary evolved in a very specific, inland, dense rainforests, where it couldn't fly. So, to survive, it had to develop something else: pure leg power. A cassowary's kick is unique. It strikes forward and downward with incredible force. That dagger-like claw is positioned perfectly to slice into the abdomen of a potential threat. If a human bends over, or, in this case, falls to the ground, the most vulnerable parts of the body, the throat, the torso, the inner thighs, suddenly at the perfect height for a devastating strike. But here's a crucial point that experts and wildlife officials stress over and over. Most cassowary attacks happen for one main reason: food. When humans start feeding wild cassowaries, the birds lose their natural caution. They start to see people not as something to avoid, but as a walking vending machine. And once that fear is replaced with expectation, aggression is not far behind. In Australia, you'll see warning signs everywhere in cassowary territory. They all say the same thing: do not feed them, do not approach them, and whatever you do not run. Running triggers a chase instinct, and you will not outrun a cass. They can sprint up to 30 miles per hour, or 50 kilometers per hour, straight through dance. They can leap 7 feet into the air. They can even kick while in midair. No wonder they often called the world's most dangerous bird. Not because they actively hunt humans, they don't, but because of the sheer, devastating damage they can inflict in a split second if they feel provoked. The Florida case was so shocking because it shattered a deep-seated psychological assumption most of us have, that birds are harmless. We see them as fragile, delicate, lightweight creatures. But the cassowary is far closer to a small dinosaur than it is to a songbird. In fact, many scientists describe cassowaries as one of the closest living relatives to certain theropod dinosaurs. The group that includes when you look at its scaly legs, its powerful build, and that menacing claw, you can see the resemblance. And in those moments of explosive aggression, it doesn't just look ancient, it behaves that way too. But here's the uncomfortable truth behind most so-called animal attacks involving cassowaries. They almost always have context. People getting too close for a selfie, people offering them food, people accidentally cornering them or blocking their escape path, or startling them during their nesting season when they are most protective. In the fatal Florida case, investigators specifically noted that the victim had fallen, a sudden movement on the ground, a posture of vulnerability. This could easily be perceived by the bird as a threat or a sign of distress. Cassowaries react with incredible speed, and once they commit to a defensive strike, they don't hold back. This wasn't an act of predation. The bird wasn't hunting him for food. It was a reaction, but as this case tragically proves, a reaction can still be fatal. There is something uniquely disturbing about being harmed by an animal we don't expect to be dangerous. We mentally prepare ourselves for the big, obvious predators. We understand the risk of getting too close to a bear or swimming in shark-infested waters. But a bird, it just feels wrong. It messes with our mental categories of what is safe and what is not. And that's exactly why this story went viral. It forces us to confront the fact that danger in the natural world isn't always where we expect to find it. It's often hidden in the details we overlook. Size doesn't always equal safety. Feathers don't automatically mean harmless. And most importantly, captivity does not equal domestication. You can raise a wild animal from birth, but you can't erase millions of years of instinct. Cassowaries are not pets. Even when raised by humans, their territorial instincts remain. Their incredible strength remains. Their defensive programming remains. As many wildlife biologists will tell you, the most dangerous animals aren't necessarily the ones that want to kill you. They're the ones that react faster than you can think. And cassowaries react fast. While fatal attacks are extremely rare, severe injuries are not. We're talking deep lacerations, broken bones, and serious internal trauma. It is a significant enough risk that some national parks in Australia have installed prominent warning signs specifically about cassowaries, urging visitors to keep a safe distance. And yet, every year, you see the same videos online. Tourists trying to get selfies with them, people approaching them, getting way too close. Some even try to offer them food, thinking it's a friendly gesture. They do this because, to the untrained eye, the threat just doesn't look like a threat. It's just a big, weird-looking bird. And that might be the most dangerous illusion of all. The incident in Florida wasn't an act of malice. It wasn't a calculated hunt by a vicious monster. It was a collision of instinct and vulnerability. A man fell. A bird with prehistoric defensive instincts reacted. A powerful kick was delivered, and the outcome was fatal. When we talk about the risks of wildlife, we tend to focus on the apex predators. But sometimes, the most shocking and memorable cases involve animals we completely underestimated. That's what makes this story so chilling. This tragedy didn't happen deep in the Australian rain. It didn't involve a poacher or a lost hiker. It happened at home, in a man's own backyard, with an animal he had raised. And that forces us to ask a harder question. When we decide to keep wild animals in our homes and on our properties, are we truly respecting what they are? Or are we just convincing ourselves that there's something they can never be? The cassowary didn't just become dangerous on that day in April 2019. It always was. The only thing that changed was the circumstance. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Which unexpected animal attack story has shocked you the most? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching. And if you found this interesting, consider subscribing for more real cases where the wild refuses to fit our assumptions.